Yes, good morning, my people. How are you? Today is a random cat talk Thursday. Ka ice team wa karabie. Yes, good morning, Muyombia Mark, Mogalasi Joshua Mixed Farm, Golden Bears, na Guru Netball Academy. You lost your person. Yeah, man, oba uli muchara. Na yo buzenyo Seth Kagaba, Tusime Eddie Louis, Musema Saddam, Nathan, Wabuyi Nelson, Micho Selector, you lost. Morad Kemumo VIP, Omni Wandiambi, Ben Kako, Antonio, waruaka maruka kukagara kumpisa kalyawu mabega. Koli, Mukwaya Richard, Council Party, mute akamaruka kagara kumpisa, nangi njagara kampisa na ite kampisa. Antonio Random Things VIP, Oza Mosantu, you guys, muri urunji. Akamaruka kalyawu, Antonio kaya akasobola. Mukama atuyambi atekemu Arthur obuwangazi agule Prius so he can tell us why it's truly worth it, because the problem now is the battery of the car. Prius kizibu kyamanda naye munsabira akasente nange nkafunye nange njagala I want to test it oba naye ate eno kaka akwa kandabikira bubi nene akamotoka ako mukalabye ako keka akwa kandabikira bubi naye nga nakote kali badde kabi naye the Prius is the best Prius if indeed you want to test it. Antoni akamotoka kagenda kuyisa kalinde Mubana ya ati ayinzo ba ati anti bwayisa kayinzo fiira mu kali ku UAA ugenda kalaba Anthony. Anthony ngezeza kunyaka motoka ukatuyiteko naye akavuga mutitizi huyo kulunajja. He's a coward. You don't give a damn, you don't dare. My number one girl, you rule my world. You took my heart, never ever. But you make me beg. You make me beg. Every time I come over, you make me beg. But why? You kiss your touch and leave my. But why? Ration nimbo Saddam now in the car with the Primo than the Kuranamokade. What are you talking about, man? Oh, mani, how the suspension of the Corolla is very comfortable. You see, and you see, the thing is, Saddam, before I drove the Corolla, I drove the Primo. The Primo is a solid car, no doubt. But the Corolla is something else. You see, the seats of the Primo don't hug you, but the seats of the Corolla hug you very well. You get it? And any car that has hugging seats is much more comfortable than a car that doesn't have hugging seats. That's pretty much one of the differences between the newer X, the newer S, yeah, all the low trims of the newer. If you're going to the Bond right now, you should be buying the newer SI. The newer SI actually has the seats that hug you, which doesn't happen with the other newers. And that's one of the differences, the things that make the newer SI comfortable. And then the suspension is also different. You see, if you sat in the Mark X, which we bought yesterday, I'm going to share the story as well. It also has hugging seats. All the cars that are not comfortable don't have hugging seats. Now, the type of hugging seats in the Primo you're talking about, were the type of hugging seats that were available at the time of the Primo. Then the Corolla, of course, the Primo is a Corolla, which is meant to be much more comfortable than the Corolla of its time. But then the Corolla is a trim. The Corolla Namukadi you're talking about is a trim higher than that Primo you're talking about. The comfort of the Corolla is literally, it's almost the comfort of the Primo, the 2004, 2005 Primo there. Which take it and so my brother, I've driven both cars, so I know. Good morning, Travel Life Vlog. Chris Fitness, good morning. Edwin Mugeru, ani agenda okuba muziki ku Lumbero, mutandise okukopata amale emirundi. And by the way, guys, bantu bameka bali mugeze Exelium, because the Exelium yanyongera mu kilometer 2 kusatu depending on how I drive. Anyongera mu kilometer 2 kusatu. I'm curious to know abantu baawano bameka bagezeza Exelium era abadde abakolera atya. I've seen people on my TikTok abagamba Exelium ayina kyabongeramu, even the way the engine sounds. So I'm curious to know the people that are here mu Exelium abakoledde biki. I'm probably going to refill on Monday. Inaku zine moroka ene badde enywa malidadi. Atemba desi sibe yukanyo. But I'm curious to know bantu bameka bagezeza Exelium mu moroka zammwe era abakoledde atya. Inaku zine Exelium akola ebyamagero wajjudde. Abai, ani wa faneru wano. Faneru echa inayo bye inayo. No, msajja faneru akube ifana nyaroza abana be bwayisi babirike esimba jjajjitwala. Sema VIP, good morning Fahad Lubuka, Talemwa Samuel. I hope you guys slept very well. Neka tonda yakola abana baboda. Bazunga buzunzi. by the way, guys, I want to do a review of a lorry. Sagara forward, Sagara LF. Is I can access them. I want a trailer nge yo mujirabe ina suspension ye woma. I want to do a review of that thing. Mvugena mu okitegeera. Njagala kola review ya moroka eyo. I think one of these days ndoza anfuneyo ne kigege na yonji reviewing njivuge mu kuba class ya yonji dina. Mvugene kuba saabaze. Okitegeera mbabulire ku baro uko bizibu kye bibeera ko. I think I should do a video of that. Mbabulire mu abagenda okuinvestinga mu kigege dala ebizibu abasajja aba kigege bibogera bibayo oba tebibayo. Guy, you'll be surprised in the standard speed limit kati ndi mu nsanvu mvuze ensanvu kuba wenvudde wali we parking ze wali ku bypass nsanvu net sibuka speed limit ekigere kyange kiri standard kiri nyako bulinyi. Guy, for the very first time, maybe the movie bitambula mu film. Today I'm seeing them move. That's why I moved the phone. The clouds are actually moving. It takes time for me to notice them moving, and they are going very fast. Whatever they are going for should be important, but they are moving very fast. They are actually moving. It takes time for anyone to actually notice those clouds move. But how are you, my people? Speed a little, but we are going to read all those comments. So we bought a Toyota IST. Now, for the guys that don't remember, that IST belonged to one of the guys here. Yatukanga, he's going abroad, and then he was selling it. I told you guys here, IST and you guys did not respond. Mark 2 grand. Hey, I told you about the Mark II brand, and still you guys did not respond. So the person that bought that IST is the person that sold it yesterday to us. Not yesterday, the other day. Yeah, Jituguza. And he also sold it lower than the price that we bought it the very first time. Right? But you see, we mbagamba nti banange moroka eno nungi. Mujje mujigule ya follower wange nga mujjanga mujigula kati nabagamba Mark 2 grand eyo ndi mujinonyeza sente nze njiguleyo lulibolo ne wabaawo omuntu ajjanga anonya Mark 2 grand nga Mark 2 grand mu katale ebuze ngeyange weeri nga nze najigula and when I tell you guys nebagamba emmotoka eno like the Mark 2 grand eyo belongs to the person that bought the other Primo. The last Primo we bought from the bond. The Moroka yali nungi. At that time yali mu half tank. Semanyo baba dai na bwajiwana ajivuga. It had a half tank of fuel. The only thing is that it was a blue car. That's, I think that's the only challenge that you would have with that car if you're interested in buying it. But it's a very nice car. Simanyi oba charging na nali mugambe agiterekere. Omanyi oba emoroka joraba nga it's really nice. Na mugamba agiterekere abantu bange. Kujja kubaako omuntu ajja akoleki. Ajja agikule. So that's one of the cars. Actually ndoza emoroka kati esigaddewo eyava mu community, yeah? That's the car that is remaining yava mu community kati IST yebaddewo naye naye erugenze. So the IST had new tires, and you'll be surprised this person that bought the IST wanted either the IST or the Toyota Vitz, and our initial budget was 12 million, yeah? But right now at 12 million you'll be getting the Vitz old model. You'll be getting the Vitz old model, and the Vitz old model doesn't retain as much value as the IST you get, and that's why I advise this person that why don't we stick to the IST. The IST would definitely make more sense if you want to buy a car that will retain some value, and that's the first car we saw. And then there was someone that had another IST. My plumber has an IST. Ate my plumber emoroka eyo gye yayigiramu okitegeera. So I've not seen it for quite some time. And then the plumber was also saying katikati ate emoroka yange eno bwe yagitunda yali yagitunda miliyoni 10 yagamba 15 emoroka eno bwe yagitunda ngenda kuzzaawo ki. Now the trouble with selling a car is that you sell a car, what are you going to replace it with? That's normally the trouble. Okitegeera nti gwe moroka yo bw'oba ogiina bagenda gigulako sente entono. Bwe bagigulako sente entono bw'onoonya emmoroka efaanana gy'obadde nayo ku sente ezo nga tolinawo ogijja. You get what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why nagaana okutunda namukadde yange, nti emmoroka eyo ogenda kugitunda ku sente ezo ogitunze. Negwe bazikuba gambe genda ononye emmoroka eri mu embeera y'emu n'emmoroka eyo gy'ova okutunda nga teriyo. That's normally the trouble you get, and it seems like cars are cheap when you're not buying. When you're not in the market for a car, cars are very cheap. Like you see how we keep saying Ipsam Zibara cheap, Gaia Zibera cheap. I'm talking about the guy because the guy is right here in front of me. That's the Gaia. Like we'd be here saying Gaia za raisi milioni nya chitundu nga toginoonya kati ekyo kigayo kiraba si kirungi. Nesebo oyinza okwagala okukigula Gaia nakugamba ayagala miliyoni 7 kitundu. Ekyo kyolaba. Aga emoroka yange eri ku UFV, moroka kijogenda ogula ku UFV ngeri kuze kati kisho kiine emipiira ng'ogyeko amataala amaatifu okitegeera ojjana musanga ye yakyejjira mu bondi ekimoroka kyakivuza ebbanga lino lyonna okitegeera. But as bw'oba otandika okunoonya emmoroka kati olaba, the reason why I advise this person to buy the IST is because the IST, we actually didn't buy 13.7, we bought it 14 naye baddeko ekipapula kya mitwalo 3 nga kya speed okitegeera. You see the reason why I advise him to buy the IST is because bw'oba otuuse to upgrade and you want to sell a car, it is important for you to buy a car that is going to retain value. Ogule emmoroka nga sente zaayo nga bwe zirimu bw'oba otunze topapa. The trouble with people when we are selling normally, twagala nnyo okutunda nga oyina ekikugoba. At the time that you're selling, of course kale tetwagala. I think when I say twagala nnyo okutunda, I'm misrepresenting the entire situation. Tugenda ebiseera ebimu okutuuka okutunda nga tulina ekitugoba, and ekitugoba kiba kyagala sente nga si nnyingi naye ng'ate essaawa eyo noonya akuwa sente ezo nga tomulaba, which is why I told you guys, try as much as possible to hold money. Sigazaamu akasente every time you're buying a car. Sigazaamu akasente, bw'oba olina miliyoni 3 gula emmoroka ya 2 osigazeemu 10, eri 10 linaakutaasa when you, instead of selling your car very cheaply, osobola okufuna miliyoni 6 z'oyagala. Oba watereka wali 10 kwonojja miliyoni 6 ezimala ekizibu oleme kutunda mmoroka yo layisi. Then probably the other thing that needs to happen is that we need to try as much as possible to buy the cars when we need them, not when we want to buy. Because when you buy a car when you need it, you will never even feel like, oh, I have a problem. The car is the one thing that I should be selling. Which take it. And then probably the other thing that I've seen that we need to try as much as possible to stop as young people is we need to try and stop the practice of promoting problems. Like a problem is not really a big issue, but then you promote it at that time, and that makes you sell your car very cheaply. Which take it. Like there can be a problem in the family that is not actually your problem, it's another person's problem. Which take it, and then you elevate it. I remember the time I bought the first Vitz. This lady had sent me money to deposit on the car so that we pay for it fully. And then an uncle was going to India for an operation. I really want to assume that that's what happened. So an uncle was going to India for an operation, and she elevated that problem. She postponed her buying of the car because an uncle was going to India for an operation. You get? So that problem is uncle's problem of going to India. But you elevate it and get quarter of the money you plan to buy a car with, and decide that, you know what, uncle is going to India for an operation. Kamwe million tan agende bamukoleko. I want to imagine that majority of the times the things that you see when it comes to big operations, instead of seeing about tebaona. I understand that you want to buy some time with your relatives ajabe dewoko, but if you said emo is an okwesanga omuntu go buying that time yet yali buying it, which take it, right? But we tend to promote problems. A problem that is not yours, you promote it to your own problem, and then you end up losing out, which take it. So, but of course, when that lady told me that, I sent her back the money, and that's how I ended up owning that Vitz. And I think that Vitz has came before the transformation into a driver of new cars. Which take it. And in a comment one was Narabi Nesokanzi Itako. Excelium is just excellent. Like, it's man. They have dropped the price where I am. Yeah. Good morning, Arthur. Today talk about the 3ZR engine, Valvematic and VVTI engine. Valvematic is improvement of VVTI. So definitely a very good engine, a big artist. Good morning, Eric. MK Dental Hub, Ronald Muchwa, Fahad Lubuka. Yeah, and of course Paul Seba VIP. Yeah, so we saw the IST, and then I had seen an IST in one of the WhatsApp groups where I am. It was being sold at 12.5. Broker, it would have been a very good buy, because you bought 12.5. Then I called the broker. He told me IST. That's how we ended up buying the one we had, which taking. And then there was an IST which was about 18, and then a Vitz which was about 15. Now there are things that, because those were new number plates, UBE, but normally there are things I don't want to encourage you guys to do. For example, it might be a UBE, but for you to buy a UBE at 16 million, ngakwezo 16 million ogatake million mukaga, nogula eya bond, nogula UBE, a number of number plates away, which take it, HPHP. That normally is one of the things that I don't encourage people to do. So you'd rather buy one at 12, ngikamo kunamba no officer waka sente, which that, because keeping money is one of the things that you should always strive for. Katajirabe UBE, that's a nice thing. I can't be behind it, definitely, but it would have been nice for us to be behind it. Nunji, but for you to invest 18 million in the IST old model, which take it, UBE would be a bad buy, because 18 million ogatako million nga 3 okitegeera n'ofuna emmoroka eya bond okitegeera. It doesn't make sense. The same thing happened with the gentleman that bought the Mark X. Yesterday we bought a Mark X, and a Mark X in the bond right now you can get a 2-wheel drive at around 29 million, and then you guys will be surprised. Iyo ISTUBE iyo oliyo kwa milioni 18 atenga ku milioni 18 ogatake milioni nganya n'ofuna new model ngeringa nga ku UBA awe watu the new model IST kati awo ka math kabate kagatta. So yesterday the person that wanted to buy a Mark X, he wanted a 4-wheel drive. This is the first time I'm seeing someone looking for a 4-wheel drive Mark X, and I hadn't known that a 4-wheel drive Mark X is very rare and also expensive, because you realize the 4-wheel drive Mark X's were 31 and 33. Of course they told us 33 million, that was the premium version, then 31 was the normal version, and then the 2-wheel drive Mark X's are 29 right now. You get, but we bought a 4-wheel drive Mark X iri ku UBH twagiguze million 2 and then we had seen a UBJ which was 25. We also saw a UBP at 25. Now when we had gone to do inspection, ebintu bya engine bino biri funny. The UBH we bought had a very good, much better engine than the UBP, than the UBJ. The UBP was literally new on body and interior. But the thing that stopped us from buying a UBP, first of all, the UBP bali bagitete nkanyamu. The push to start was a put to push to start button. It wasn't like the push to start that comes with the car. Now the challenge with cars like that is that sooner or later it's going to be disturbing you. Sooner or later it's going to be disturbing you. Just turning off the engine was disturbing. Then what happened? Of course the engine wasn't very healthy. Now I'm imagining, how do you drive a UBP? A car that hasn't been on the road for more than for even 2 years. The engine in one. Then the thing that we did, ngabojisamo drive a pipira. And for the guys that don't know, Mark X is wiring. Wiring. Even the engine would actually be no problem. The engineer Mark X tefa. Chances are very high that now the challenge with the Mark X that has an engine that doesn't sound nice is that the people that will come to buy it from you, for them they know how Mark X is supposed to sound, so they'll definitely cut your money. So the number plate would not matter at that time if the engine doesn't sound good. Murunji Jili is saying, Arthur, you inspired me. Now I bought a Vista. Congrats Jili. Congrats. Kulike chigere. Arthur, or how profitable is owning a box body lorry? How much does it report weekly? Yeah, I'm going to do a video on that. I'm going to do a video on that. Owning a box body. There was a trailer that was got it home. Good morning, Arthur, in all car lovers. Today we are hosting the King of Saudi Arabia here in Bahrain. Right here, era Ketaro na yenze tonyumiza, at least let me like era. I mean a start. Chris Fitness, something I've noticed. Almost all newer cars, 2020, 2024, Mercedes, Genesis, Nissan, BMW are recalled by companies because of manufacturing faults. Question is, do our mechanics learn about these faults? They don't. Chris Fitness, our mechanics don't learn about the faults, because by the time we get those cars, probably the faults are resolved, or the cars we're actually getting in Uganda already had the faults, and we are simply buying them because they are cheap. I'm sure that you see the 2020, 2024. I'm sure there are some people that are buying those cars in Uganda right now because the person sees the fault and probably their warranty was null, and then they just decide to sell it for scrap, and then the Ugandan will go. You guys have seen some Ugandans on TikTok telling people kano kavitizi simanya sikabi just kaitamu amataba okagula wano n'okatwala n'okakanika, but guys don't know what it takes. Nze moroka yange Primo nayita mu kitaba down there ku exhaust where oxygen sensor zali naked, negatta waya neyo chechi waya kyonna nga mpise mazzi wansi nga tegatuuse no na mu engine bay. Oshegera kati moroka eyamataba gwogigula okugijja eri nga mwaka mupya ogireete wano oba ogenda kubonaabona. Okitegeera because okufuna obufunyi makanika agitegeera okugamba nti katandika kunoonya kino. Okitegeera. But Chris Fitness, our mechanics here don't really get to know about those things because they don't even pay attention, because they have no reason to pay attention. They have no reason to pay attention because right now a person that is buying a 2016 model car is literally buying a new car. They are even buying them very expensively. So you can imagine omuntu agule moroka empya agula 216 kitegeera kati abagula 220 ajigula tagana na kwogera na muntu yena. I find that that's one of the issues. Kitegeera agula tagana na kwogera na bantu because aguze moroka mpya 2020. And I've seen that most of the people that are buying the newer cars, they're importing them themselves. So if that person is importing a car, it means they're not going to even inspect it. Kati omuntu agula 2021 car ngaji importing ayinzo ji importing agenda okugenda wano mu badira ba wano ng'emmoroka ebagitune miliyoni 7 ngeri bamugambye yana 45 kasitara bange bamugamba nti etandika it starts bichi wiring issues olumu nga agiguze miliyoni 3.5 they import the car. Okitegeera. So they don't even consult the mechanic, even if it were consulting, if the mechanics knew it. But one thing I realize is that some of our mechanics don't even know. Let me give you an example. You'll find a mechanic that doesn't even own a car. Kayenga mechanic ataina motor car. Kate mechanic that doesn't even own a car. When will they even get the motivation to research about car faults, cars that have been recalled and all that? Because a mechanic, we would imagine that a mechanic, their sole goal is to research. A mechanic's sole goal, since they are a mechanic, is to find out what are the problems that happen with cars and what should we be looking out for to fix. But imagine a mechanic that doesn't have a car. Ngebizibu bimusanga mu garage tabimanya. Okitegeera, right? So they don't really research. Tuchagule moroka 210 tunagenda okutuuka mu 220 nga probably those cars that have been recalled, the issues have been resolved, or we are simply buying what is available because somehow the mechanics that side figured out engeri yokuziyiyamu nezikola kyebaagala. Kitegeera. So yes, and it's completely normal. I think that's what they say, that you know the problems of the places where you are, like how in Uganda here people for infection, what say, like TB, like those are the diseases that doctors know. So when you go to hospital, they'll start by checking malaria. If there's no malaria, then they'll check for typhoid. If there's no typhoid, then they'll say it's infection. Which like the doctors here know the problems. I remember a story of someone that shared his brother got sick, and it was a very rare illness. It doesn't even happen in Uganda. The only way the boy was diagnosed was by sending their samples. That Primo person doesn't know what is driving. So the only way diagnosis was done was when samples were sent to the US, and then the doctors in the US told them what was the problem. Nengo omwana sengate yaina insurance yali amaze mu koma, I think emyezi nga 9. Tugende mzeeyi tuziga ineta sana tutobata tuta. Good morning Derek Lule, Sebugwao Medi. katugende naffe ate katunalaba ffe tugondera amateeka ffekka katugirabe eyo Nuwa S. That Nuwa S has nothing on the SI. The Nuwa SI is something else. Ni suspension ya njawulomu bwefa byebyo byowulira nti emmotoka yagaana anti era Chris Fitness byebyo like someone that a mechanic shared a story of someone that imported the Suzuki Swift, I think 2017. He imported, it was working very well. He drove it from Mombasa to Kampala, took it to the paint shop. When he took it to the paint shop, ne bagifuwa rangi ne yamala ina kunganya gaya agenda okujja okuginona nga tekyayaka. Bwe baleta makanika wa Nissan n'abagamba amujesonye musoke mugiwemu emyezi 3 ejja kumala eyake emyezi 3 teginnaggwako naye ng'emmotoka yakayingira tebannagivuga yadde tebagivugamu yadde ennaku 3 because oli yagigula ng'erimu lu damage, but because he bought it very cheaply, I think he did not even care to figure out where the damage is coming from. So semmotoka okuva we bagireeta eri mu garage tetambulangako zize emmotoka eziga, and I think that's one of the reasons why the mechanics will keep telling you togula mmotoka mpya za amasannyalaze mangi zijja kusumbuwa, but in actual sense sigamba nti emmotoka zaali sumbuye, but you see some of those cars were already recalled, zina ebizibu byazo and all that. Yeah, but I hope you guys are doing well. Yesterday we bought a Mark X 4-wheel drive. Twaguze naimwe bagayi Mark X erina ye ekintu kyayo, nze kata noonye ne crown yabuze, crown tezirabika. Mwe bagayi bw'oba toyagala mmotoka osobola okugamba nti emmotoka ya layisi. Mark X 4-wheel drive zabaddemu mu mmotoka enkadde, zabaddemu Mark X eza 4-wheel drive 1 2 3 zabaddemu Mark X eza 4-wheel 3. Enakawa tewabaddeyo Mark X ya 4-wheel drive, okitegeera Mark X gye twaguze twagiguze Rubaga, but I think that we had a very, very bad chance. The person that owned that Mark X before was selling it. So the gentleman that bought that Mark X contacted me some time ago, and he booked for yesterday for pre-purchase inspection. But the person that was selling the Mark X had priced it a little higher. I think initially he had said about 25 million. But then I think the day before he got a problem and sold it to a trader. You get it? Now we bought it from a trader yesterday. So I don't know how much the trader bought it yesterday. But for us, he sold it to us at 21.5. You get it? And I think you know how the traders buy a car from Athanga advertise motoka nga nabo tebannaba kujoza. We found that twasanze they are doing ticket to probably make the paint look a little bit better, right? But he had a very good engine, very good gearbox and all that. And then one thing that probably we should know about a 4-wheel drive, especially it's all-wheel drive. The Mark X is actually all-wheel drive. One thing we should know is that it doesn't actually increase the fuel consumption of those cars as much. You get nti already Mark X erisi 225 and akasuwa kaya aka 4-wheel kabeera wano ngewa passenger. So that's how probably the guys that want to know if you're buying a 4-wheel drive Mark X will differentiate it. Now then someone will ask Arthur Rachi yaguze 4-wheel drive. India Day is today, guys. India Day is today. No, it's not today. India Day is 17th August. But here the Indian High Commission says they are celebrating. I think for them they are commemorating it today. Happy India Day to all the Indians that are watching. Yeah. Happy India Day. I don't know what India Day means, but Happy India Day. Wow. We're not celebrating India Day. So anyway guys, emotoka eza 4-wheel muziraba naddala kati eze emotoka ezisikire emabega. It seems like the people that want 4-wheel drive and someone that has I talked to someone that has driven a Mark X, a lot of Mark X's by the way, and he was saying that when you drive a 4-wheel drive Mark X, you don't want to drive a Mark X that is not 4-wheel. I totally understand that a Mark X that is a Mark X that is 4-wheel drive teyo no na mipira nga Mark X ya 2-wheel drive. The Mark X that is 2-wheel drive, remember a better rear wheel drive, so empira jema bega jigwako mangu jukira bogatako okuserera and all that, then empira jiba jijja kugwako mangu jema bega. But the 4-wheel drive Mark X emipira jigwako evenly era twajiguze ng'empira kwabaddeko mpira nga gulinga gumu ogutaliko naye ate I suspect that this trader bwe yasubudde emmoroka eyo n'ajjako omupiira omulamu oba ayina emmoroka ebulako omupiira n'ateekako omukadde kuba emipiira giri emirala esatu gyonna gyabadde gikyali mipya. So one of the advantages of 4-wheel drive cars or all-wheel drive nti emipiira giggwako evenly. Kyova olaba mu Subaru, it's very hard to find a Subaru that has 2 tires that okujjako nga wheel alignment yefu, which is also rare. Kizibu nnyo kusanga motoka eya 4-wheel drive ng'emazeeko emipiira ebiri oba gumu, okitegeera, because esigala emipiira gyonna gyonna gitambula the way they are supposed to actually move. Corolla Cross mugirabye just 0 mileage, naye kyesimanyi lwaki yasaako gaadi eŋŋanda ng'ate motoka avuga nsungu. Corolla Cross just 0 mileage. So anyway, so we bought the IST and then we bought the Mark X. The Mark X jetwaguze yanjagaza Mark X. I think it's Mark X is nakubanze kati Mark X jaragula ya rais banjagala nengo ku muntu nga yavuwadde nga ina ki Mark X kibanze sijja kuboola namba Mark X ate bazonoona kochi okujja ko ngoli muonoonyi. All the Mark X's we saw yesterday zabadde zina SC wazo, which actually zonna zabadde n'emipiira gyazo, naye Mark X yabadde nnungi nnyo, yabadde tempting, yabadde gitwala UBP. But the issue with the UBP Mark X is that n'ekipapula ky'omu maaso wano kyabadde kigudde kati kyabadde kisumulule, then ate nga bw'ogiteeka mu drive eyina mu keekola akapipira, then twagitadde bwe tuti mu drive egenda kusika naye yabadde tegenda kusika. It actually had an issue, okitegeera, and normally omanye ebizibu ebyo ebyeza emmotoka janga ekizibu ekiri simple bw'oba ogigula bw'otyo olunaku lw'ogigula neetandika okukola ebyo tugula koyiro n'ogula koyiro neegaana era eka fuel pump n'ogigula neegaana tukyuse ku plaga. Me have had cars like that bw'ogigula nga nnungi ebeere ate emmotoka bwe zito ziba zirabika bulungi nnyo kati ebeerabika bulungi nga you don't want to lose your car. Buli kye bagira ndagina kigana emitwalo nga 2, not a lot of money, ka 2 kangateekemu, before you know it emmotoka mu nnaku nga 2 ng'ekulidde million 3. Ogira nga baga nedda naye tutuuze wali omusajja alina yingini tugiteekemu ko tulaba oba yeebikola, nga muteekamu yingini endala nga yeebikola, ekireka yingini eyo yabaddemu akantu bambi. So I don't want to take a risk. So it was really tempting. I think I'm one of the advocates I advocated for us to buy a UBP. And then the mechanic we were moving with n'agamba emmotoka eyo mujja jigula ate Mark X jigula zisumbuwa amasanze mujja jigula batandika okugamba simanya kasensa kaki, okitegeera, and before you know it nga batandise gamba ate katusumule tujjeko top ziyinza okuba simanya kamshaft zikoze biki and all that. Okakananga emmotoka ekulidde million endala 3 kyotaali agadde ate tuyingidde ebbeeyi ya mmoroka mpya, okitegeera. And I had told this gentleman tugende mu bond tujjeyo Mark X oba batubanja n'agaana. I want to spend a specific amount of money, okitegeera, and I understood him, although kati nze ennaku zino waliwo, and I've been telling you for some time, omuntu waba alina miliyoni 2 kati nze saawa eno kinnumamu okuba nga olina miliyoni 2 n'ezisukkamu ate n'ogula emmoroka enkadde, lwakuba nti budgeting is also a very important skill. Ne miliyoni 2 essaawa eno lwakuba emmoroka ziri mu kulinnya. I saw a 2014 model Vitz at 43 million shillings. I'm wondering why would I buy a car, the Vitz at 43 million shillings? What is it going to give me? Is the liter going to take me for 40 kilometers? Normally. But cars are going, the prices are going high. So I'm going to read some of the comments, then atemba sibule mbutongole. Ebibuzo byancha bagayi bange nabagamba zinna kwenda tukuba kibozi. Oba toyina kibozi ebibuzo byonna sibiddamu. Emoroka endala gye nalaba bannange bagayi esumbwa nga tomanyira kumanya nti ekusumba is the Mercedes Benz the Golf. Why? People are normally passionate about those cars, so when they buy them, emusumbuwa mpola tamanya mpola kyekye nkugamba ekibeera ku mmoroka gy'ogula ng'ogyagala nnyo nti esooka nekulya y'ataano agaataano oba olaba sente entono kuba emmoroka mpya ng'ogamba ndizijjayo ng'ekulya endala. And guys, let me say this again. I think I've taken some time without saying it. If you're going to buy a car, new or used, bw'ogula emmoroka bw'oti givuga emyezi 3 nga tokoze modification z'amaanyi. Emyezi ebeka 3. Because normally emmoroka esobola okukutama myezi egy'esatu. Esobola okuba nga nnungi nga terina yadde obuzibu naye nga tokyajagala. You know how I've said that I've driven a car and it was comfortable in the first like 1 hour, and by the time that hour was done, the car wasn't really that special. So you can imagine if that happens to me like that, there are people that it will probably take a month or 2. But in the first 3 months, emmoroka bwe neebanga techa esobola okutuuka egy'emyezi negigwako takyali impressive. Okitegeera the first couple of months. So don't make any serious modifications on your car for 3 months, because any modification you do on your car, let's say putting a woofer, buying Android radio, buying new tires, for the first 3 months don't. That's why normally when we are going to buy a car, I try as much as possible to make sure that we buy a car that has all the basics that you would need in a car, so that you don't get the urge to want to buy those things. So that myezi egy'esatu whether iganye ngikutamye ogitunda sente zennyini zewakolaki zewagigula, because it's possible. I've seen people that even sold cars at higher prices. The issue now will actually have to be topapa kutunda okitegeera. Derek Lule Sebugwawo Medi nakubuuzizaako Arthur on Subaru XT and Vanguard, which is better? You know what my answer is going to be. The Subaru XT is a very comfortable car, but Subarus are very expensive to maintain, so I'll definitely choose the Vanguard. The Vanguard just has a challenge with the steering rack, but other than that, it's one of the cars that you'll drive or go away. And maintenance wise, the Subaru is expensive. So, and Subarus are not bad cars. Subaru ziri bibebi byategeera Subaru. But I also find that in terms of retention of value, the Vanguard will retain its value more than the Subaru. Ngate, you're spending less than the amount of money you'll be spending on a Subaru XT. The lorry, I'm waiting to know why the driver's seat is added springs to bounce. To give you comfort, because lorries are not really that comfortable. Our mechanics just announced them flat. A Moroka or what or Wally not to park it. Jerisha Motors, good morning. John's Info, good morning. Chris Fitness, mechanical faults have been happening many times. I've just bought a Vista Elliott 1991. The first owner was a lady and I'm the third owner. The car is nice. Vista Elliott. Vista Elliott. Is it the sedan? Arthur, my Rumion gives me about 14 kilometers per liter on full-time AC. Is that good consumption? That's very good. That's very, very good. And you remember the last Kaundo we bought? I was talking to the owner, and he told me his Kaundo gives him 12 kilometers per liter on SC. Do you know what that means? 12 kilometers per liter in a Kaundo on SC. Mwena mugule Kaundo. I've just joined the taxi family. 2 new drones. Kulika traveler. Zivuga ngudochi izo drone zaffe. Football Tribe, good morning. Lawrence Biamukama, Excellium is good fuel. Most of fuel pricing are still dropping day by day. Antibagara mugule Excellium. mugule Excelia. My guy bought a BMW X6 ne emkolako emikolo. It's been in the garage close to 2 months now, and he's a country where mechanics are real good with such cars. Ati kati is a motoka ezo ziraba. As a motoka, I find that one of the problems that those cars have nti esobola okufa ka sensor. Naye nga ka sensor ako okazuula we kali nti ke kafudde, it takes a lot of effort to actually find it, and that's where the mechanics normally get a problem. Someone was telling me there is a lady that I know that has a Nissan Cube. Mumanyobo Nissan Cube ofana murumion. She imported it herself, and initially when I saw her when I was driving the Corolla. She imports her own cars, imports her own spares. And we were saying, Nissan Cube, it started. And those cars don't really die very big things. A bifa obuntu butono kaka sensor ne kafa. Nenga ka sensor ako okakola aguze yingini asinga. Oshegera, that's what those cars die. Is a moroke zo ngabo inzi bagambe zitategerekeka. Efa akantu nga katono nenga akakantu kakola. Ogendo kumaro kakola nga ate bonoonye ebirala kati nga aguze yingini ndala natuzaamu asinga. Ate nga yingini ya bei. Ata compare IST and Paso Set. Let me do the comparison tomorrow. I'll be contacting you for trackers. Amina. A tracker weziri nyo. Chris Fitness. There are some latest Toyotas like 2022, 2024 Tundra Hybrid, Lexus, and Sequoia Hybrid only. But even most of them mechanics have already figured out. What's the trick behind the Kaundo to give you 12 kilometers per liter? Perhaps it might get another engine. No. It's a 2.4. I inspected that vehicle to Ajijamo Bond. It's a 2.4 liter. And well, the thing is, part of the journey, Avuga Express, so the only jam that he meets is the jam that he meets in town. Neighbor Dawali Avuga Express Paka Waka. One of the colleagues at work, an Audi that can't start. The Audi dealership mechanics have failed to fix it. It's a 2022 model. Yes, good morning, JK. Obado Buzenyo. I found that JK, I find that those new cars are like newborn babies. A newborn baby can be challenging. I think that's one of the challenges that we find for ababira na abana omwana alwane banonyo omuswago bakuba mu cannula ne gusoka gubula kati omwana bali ko bamufumita kati mukufumita awo mu motoka mukunonya wawe ebizibu ebijira okitegeera. So I find that our mechanics might actually be right when they tell you temugula motoka ziri mpya nnyo because zisumbuwa. I've actually considered buying a Suzuki Swift. I've considered buying a Suzuki Swift, but not of course not the latest model, like the 2006, 2005. Because since Toyota got a partnership with Suzuki, their cars seem to be a little bit. Kati zi Suzuki atenkadde nnyo muzireke mugule Suzuki eze mpya muko 2,600 2,500 2,400 we watyo okitegeera zino 2,800 nazo tebannazitegeera bulungi 2,10 tebannazitegeera bulungi naye ogula 2,600 2,500 okubeebera ya rais ate okusingako ku Toyota naye nga ate some of those cars they share spares with Toyotas right now because Toyota has a partnership with these guys. Mechanics gamble on new cars, yes. But that's because most of them don't actually have diagnosis machines that can diagnose those cars. But if they got a diagnosis machine that can diagnose a newer car, the problems are quite easy to see. Because there's a more singers are diagnosing on a computer. Muyombia Mark, Mugalasi Joshua Mixed Farm, Golden Bears, Naguru Netball Academy Media, Seth Kagawa, Tusime Eddie, Louis, Musema Saddam, Nathan, Wabuyi Nelson, Micho Selector, Morad Kemomo, Omni Wandiambi, Ben Kako, Mukwaya Richard, Council Patrick Asiku, Heath Moses, Antonio Random Things VIP, Oza Mosantu, Edrin Mugirwa, Travel Life Vlog, Ntare Samuel, Fahad Lubuka, Ronald Muchwa, MK Dento Ahab, Eric, a big artist, Murunji Gidi, Andrew 256, Nsereko Starch, Derek Lule, Sebugwao Medi, Jerisha Motors, Jonesy Info, Lucky Mose, Omeja Moses, Lawrence Biamukama, Council Patrick Asiku Nakumaze, Toddy Ronald, Traveler, Kabali Moses, Tusime Cornelius, Pade Patrick Rio Poultry Farm, Traveler, JK, of course. There is an Audi model that I saw that was recalled. I think they have issues. Kale guys, kamba si buli mwe bali nyo kubera ku broadcast. Tomorrow is question Friday. Yuzo yenawe mwagala okumbuza mubibuuze echa mukama abawo mukisa.